and Assalamualaikum everybody. In this video, we are going to discuss regulations on access to the internet. Without further ado, let me introduce my team members. We got ALWANI, SYAFIQATUNNAJWA, ALYA, and MAISARAH. So, are you ready mates? Let's explore this topic with us.
Today, internet has reduced to the world to a global village where people share information. The rate at which internet is growing per month will put human beings online worldwide in a few years to come. Regulation of internet access is an important instrument for every country's development. In both developing and established countries, tries to implement regulation on internet access have resulted in some issues. For example, privacy and lack of it online information is a subject that has challenged the existing legal and regulatory infrastructure of access of internet. Problems that arise as attempts to implement regulation and access to the internet such as security, piracy, hacking, online transaction, cybercrime, racism, and xenophobia. And to overcome these problems, some remedies are really necessary. For the SITI statement, the problems that are raised by the author about access to the internet are hacking, privacy, and piracy. Over the last 2 decades, there has been advancements in new technological discoveries. Certain technologies, however good they are, can be disruptive. For example, is hacking. Hacking is a way for hackers to make money by intruding, changing, or interfering with networks. Technological advancement has resulted to spamming. The emergence of cheap electronic services communication via mobile phone has led to increased spamming. Security threats, including viruses, are due to conveyance of spam brought by digital communication dependency. Fraudulent banking bills affect the banking sector adversely. The police officers in most cases lack technological-based training, so they are unable to carry out investigation that go hand with the current technology. Capered observation proves that if a law enforcement agent detects a hacker, they do not fully understand the complication associated with such computer-related fraud.
Moving on to the second problem, which is privacy. This occurs when one must first grant permission from the website to analyze or use data. Certain countries have put restrictions on how much information can be accessed via the internet. However, the thing is whether such access can be regulated without conflicting with the values that justify the freedom of global internet access. For example, countries like Singapore have put in place measures such as proxy servers in a bid to limit the access to sites that hold information of cultural integrity and political importance. As the number of non-technical users grows, there is a larger risk of victimization and unintended abuse. Moreover, a problem arises when some data is possessed by individuals that could be extremely valuable to the general public. That is why, to access information on some websites, one may be required to subscribe and even purchase some of the articles. All in all, personal information has to be protected.
The illicit replication and distribution of copyrighted material on the internet is known as internet piracy. Illegal transactions are carried out unnoticed through the network. Transborder gambling, for example, can occur throughout the network without the awareness of management. Ethical and legal practices are important for any business survival, and software piracy is a practice for business survival if it is supported by the management, as it also can be carried out by employees in a small firm without hassle. Nowadays, top management may restrict users from using piracy application in order to earn more money. As everyone knows, licensed or legitimate copies of applications are often very expensive and not everyone can afford them. While the applications are often used in daily life, are in high demand for those skilled in the field. In that case, it will encourage people to purchase pirated software rather than buy the licensed one in order to save on their expenses and get the same benefits as the legitimate application at a lower price, or maybe it will be available free of charge. from that, every problem and issue must be addressed in some way. Where there is a will, there is a way. Barbara stated that the internet has turned the modern world into a global community where time and location are no longer barriers. As part of the fight against the problems in the internet world, regulation on internet users and internet service provider must be enforced to prevent the cyber criminal from spreading to the other parties and to address unethical internet access behaviors. Nowadays, due to the lack of ethics or law, email messages meant to be private become public. Laws governing privacy, computer security, and internet have been enacted. The rules primarily concern remote data access and computing since they constitute a significant threat not just to businesses but also to the general population. They are as follows. First, the Computer Fraud Act. According to define 1978, the law was enacted to prevent everyone from connecting to any federal computer with the goal of defrauding the government. In this scenario, the amount of protection is determined by the organization. Second, Electronic Communication Privacy Act (ECPA) was passed in 1986 to protect email privacy. It eliminates the possibility of using, disclosing or hijacking emails without the authorization of the owners. The goal was to prevent government or individuals with no legal authorization from accessing private messages. Third, private laws. A proposed State Privacy Act was created in California to protect computer privacy. According to Define, all victims of computer crimes are entitled to this protection. Fourth, Telecommunication Act. It governs the content and nature of information posted on the internet and transmitted via it. Its main goal was to reduce the negative effect of online and internet-based service delivery.
Another option is to create a system for policing internet privacy. This will help in minimizing privacy intrusion. If privacy plays a fundamental role in the shaping of everyday social relationships, then if denied, then the social and ethical rights of a person are also denied. On the other hand, the best way to handle the problem of piracy caused by internet access is to employ online counseling. This will help to get rid of financial exploitations because people will be advised on how to conduct private discussions in chat rooms and also how to avoid exchanging credit card data, which could result in financial loss. Using the pass is also a way to violate internet users' privacy. It is critical to document cases that have occurred so that people are aware of the risk of privacy in internet access.
To say that education is crucial is an understatement. It is the basis of life. Education is a tool for improving one's life. It is, without a doubt, the most crucial tool for transforming one's life. As stated in the article, the introduction of free primary education in Kenya has resulted in a decrease in illiteracy. Actually, a child's education begins at home, but how would the parents teach their children to read if they do not know how to read themselves? It was a process that lasts forever and ended in death. And education is not just about knowing facts and information that can be used in the reality. Education can help to make the world a more equitable place. For example, the government in underdeveloped nations should introduce computer classes and further digital learning to youth who are prone to internet access and use, as well as youth training centers so that they are aware of the negative consequences of piracy. As a result, individuals are more aware of their surroundings and less likely to be scammed or tricked. Since they are educated, instills in their children the value of choosing between right and wrong, as well as light and darkness. In addition, education improves a person's ability to use technology. Education does, without a doubt, teach the technical skills required for using technology. Colleges and universities should train their system administrators on developing technologies on an annual basis to ensure that they have the appropriate skills and are prepared to tackle cybercrime. This is because the annual training includes lessons from highly qualified individuals. So, from the training, they can build a passion of cybercrime defense in our country in the future. As a result, without education, it would be difficult to operate sophisticated machinery. As a result, we would suggest education as a remedy. This is because education plays such an important role in our lives and allows us to achieve our best extent. Moral ethics is important for all users who operate under it in the world, and moral ethics can only be found if we have proper education. While doing their tasks on the internet, system administrators, IT managers, and computer professionals should follow a code of ethics. A well-educated person has the potential to be a valuable member of society. It helps you in making sound life decisions. For example, the United States is spending heavily in the IT sector. Therefore, any issues that arise must be solved easily. As a result, companies require individuals who are capable of surviving in a competitive world, and we all require education as a torch that lights the path ahead. This is because education is the engine that drives the modern, developed, and industrialized world. Finally, education is a spark of hope in a sad world. It is absolutely a source of inspiration for a wonderful life. Every human being on this planet has the right to an education. Education is responsible for the largest advancement in world equipment, medicine, and computing. The world will not grow and succeed as it does not without education. An illiterate person will never be completely awake of their responsibilities as human beings and to the rest of the planet. As human beings, we must contribute to the society in which we live and make it a better place to live for everybody. Proper education allows a person to think beyond their own personal interests and leads to the formation of the ability to make the world happier and safer place for the future generations.